And welcome to the East County Prep Football Preview. I'm Ramon Scott, and I'm joined by Dave Dickens of EastCountySports.com. And Dave, got a lot of Christian High Patriots on the screen visiting us today for our continued preview series. The Patriots. Dave, I want to thank you for getting them. Let's meet them all as they come onto the screen. Just kind of recite them here. Hunter Provience, J.C. Gustin, Joey Merritt, Jake Davila, and we will have possibly another joining us, but here's Coach Danny Mitchell as well. Dave, the Christian High Patriots.
Yes, they are indeed, and definitely glad to take a little bit of their time. I know they have a little bit of a time crunch, as we all do, and that's one thing I wanted to mention real quick, and we'll move on from that. I talked to Coach Mitchell on the way home, and I was just talking about, and we've discussed it too, Ramon, about how quickly the football season is, at least prep-wise, just keeps continuing to sneak up on us earlier and earlier every season. I don't know if there's a method to that madness as far as CIF or what's going on there. And I was wondering if you wanted to mention it, or if we can, Ramon, about some things that are changing in the Grossmont Conference, or did you want to not get into that?
No, I don't think it's something we need to touch on. We're here to talk about the Christian Patriots today, off of that 3-2 season in the spring. Certainly, Dave, when I saw the list of Patriots, I was excited that you got us so many players, but we'll get to all these guys. I got a ton of questions, but my concern for these guys and for Coach Mitchell, I mean, you look at the guys on the screen. You also, Chris Akridge is trying to join us as well, but there's like 60 receptions. I'm talking about receiving receptions that Coach Mitchell has invited to join us. There's not many rushing yards. So maybe that's where I need to go with these guys. I mean, we know Jake is going to be a good quarterback, but we know the Patriots. Is this going to be like the old days of the Patriots a little bit? I know Coach Mitchell likes a little balance, so we'll see, because we're going to talk to these guys. They're all explosive offensive and defensive players. These are the Christian Patriots. Coach will tell us, and they'll tell us, I think all these guys probably line up on both sides depending on how big our rosters are this year. Coach Danny, thanks a lot for getting these guys together.
Yeah, this is a good group of guys here, and obviously this year we have probably the largest roster in school history. Actually, we know that for a fact. We have the largest roster we've had in school history. So this is just a glimpse of what our program looks like, and no better guys to represent it. I'm so proud of this group. JC right now is the only senior on here. Man, it is awesome. I mean, he's going to be it's not a secret. He's going to be our guy. He's going to be the guy we're going to run everything through, and you'll get to see it. And now we have Chris on, and the other four here are juniors. And so very special, talented 2023 class. But again, like, high school football is run through our senior class. So I'm excited to have all these guys here.
Chris, can we do a check with you real quick on your volume and make sure we got everything clear?
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, Chris. All right. Yeah, everybody, I'm sorry we didn't check before, but I just noticed, when you see these guys, and I used to worry, Dave, when we would do these shows, but now that everybody does the Zoom, the kids are trained, the boys, the gentlemen, the men are trained, and women, to keep their mics off until it's their turn to speak, like in class, because otherwise it'll pick up. So if these guys want to their mics all the time, that's okay. They know to turn it on when it's their turn to speak as well. But we don't mind if we talk over each other here, but don't get into any bad habits either when we do any distance learning, Dave. So like I said, Dave, all these guys on screen, you look at Jake, 60 receptions. Isaiah was going to join us too. Isaiah Givens, shout out Isaiah, but not many returning rushing yards. So, Jake, are you working out your arm, or do we have some balance on this team? It's obvious we have a lot of offensive talent.
Yeah, I think we're going to be really good at throwing the ball this year. We have a ton of athletes. But, also we have a good group of running backs with, like, Aiden Hypes, Kavion, a transfer, coming from Santana. He's going to be very good. And, yeah, I think we can run the ball really well this year too.
Jake, how did that come about? Was it just a change of residence, or I mean, you don't have to get too detailed on that, but how were we able to obtain such a talent in the backfield?
I honestly have no idea. One day he just showed up, and I was excited.
That's perfect. And while I have you, Jake, how does it feel? I mean, you got your opportunity in a not so maybe 6 weeks, no, probably about 7 weeks ago, you got your opportunity and you were thrown in there and you were pretty much ready to go right away. I mean, how did that feel to get the call so soon? Unfortunate, of course. We never want to see our senior quarterback go down, especially with some of the injuries that he did have, but opportunity knocks.
Yeah, it was really tough to see Gabe go down, but me and him, we trained together for the past 2 years. I looked up to him. He was a great guy to learn under, and I was prepared to go. So.
And what do you think of your receiving core too? I mean, you got a little familiar with a few of them, and I don't want coach or yourself to give away the game plan, but you definitely got plenty to throw to and have a lot of confidence in your receivers.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's going to be a competition to who gets the ball this year, so I'm excited to see it.
I'll give you away the game plan. They're sitting on the screen right now.
Right.
The ball's going to these guys on this screen. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, Coach, I mean, if you look at the statistics from the whole county last season, JC 18 catches, Chris 17 catches, Joey 16 catches, and don't forget Hunter, he had 9 catches. That's those double-digit guys. Those are among the leaders, in the county, point blank. Not the top lead, close to the top. We only played 5 games. Remember, the Patriots, Dave. So I don't want to say typical Christian. I know Coach Mitchell. It's going to be prolific. But I know that he wants to stress the balance, but still, we could be seeing something special with these guys. We already saw it. Hey, I just want to ask, I'll go to JC for this one because you want to, right? We talk about something special. Dave, it was probably your favorite play of the year, right, guys? Jay, Chris, the guys, everybody. The hook and ladder against San Diego. Everybody's seen it by now. JC, you beat one of the fastest guys around to the end zone on that play.
Yeah, that was electric. We needed a big play. We were down a couple points, and Coach said, look, we're going to do a hook and ladder. You ready? And I said, yes, give me the ball. So Chris ran a great route, caught it, chucked it back to me, and I was gone.
What a great play too. As Coach had we weren't there live obviously, but it was just that was a spark that kind of ignited you. If you guys would have had a little bit more, right, Coach? If you would have had a little more time on the clock, maybe another 4 minutes or so, maybe could have turned things around. But you were playing a top-notch, as you had mentioned, a top-notch San Diego team, really. So, I mean, your whole schedule, there wasn't a weak link on that schedule. And we can talk about La Jolla and moving on into that. How about your schedule this year?
Yeah, I think, well, what's nice is, I mean, we're talking to all 5 of these guys on the screen. Yeah, as much as last season, how it felt last season, which was this past spring. I mean, it really, the blessing in disguise of this year for these guys, unfortunately for our seniors going down early, that was a bummer to have them all lose to injury. But, I mean, it was a spring football game. I mean, spring football season for us. It was preseason for us. And these guys got game experience that they wouldn't otherwise had going into a varsity season. And so, yeah, it was definitely a bummer that we only got to play 5 games, but these guys got to play 5 games of varsity football. So they're 5 games ready. And like I said, there's juniors and seniors, and JC came to us last year, and he's implemented completely in, and so I'm excited about this group. I know, yeah, it's a young team. We have only 7 or 8 seniors, and but I believe this team has the capability of playing at a high level. And schedule-wise, we feel really comfortable where we're at, and we have some challenges early on, but we'll find out what kind of team we are.
Yeah, Dave, a little bit road heavy. They'll play 6 road games and 4 home games, but the Patriots have done their share of winning on the road over the years, so I don't think that's going to be a problem for Christian this year. I just want to know, like I said, this is Christian High, so we know some of these guys are going to be playing some defense this year. Joey, maybe you can speak on behalf of the defense. We haven't gone to you yet. I know, we see you on offense quite a bit, but you had a couple of picks last year. How's this defense going to shape up? With all due respect, I'm looking back at years of the Patriots, and we play sometimes high tempo, keeps our defense on the field a little bit longer. But can we achieve that balance and be short up on this D?
Yeah, it's for sure going to be good this year. We have me and JC going at the corners. We have Isaiah Givens at the safety. Dylan Eads at safety. He's an incoming sophomore. He's going to be really good. Chris is going to play linebacker. Aiden Hypes, Aaron Shablowski. Those are some physical guys that will do well at that position. We're going to have a good team this year, I think.
And Hunter, how did you feel? I mean, it's got to be great for all of you, like Coach mentioned, to be able to play, given so much time that you got to play on the field in a shortened season, and having that experience of seeing those veterans, and playing with those veterans and being able to pick their ear. They may have been injured, but they still got that game experience in their head. So being able to pick their brain on how to go about things. Also, I know Coach designs the plays and offensive coordinators, but a lot of times your peers might have something up their sleeve that might, in fact, be something worthwhile as well.
Yeah, it was really awesome. I got to learn behind Jack St. Fleur and Carson Stroman. It taught me a lot, my position, and they were just great role models for me, honestly.
Yeah, talk about a pair, boy, to follow those two right there. Even Jack into basketball career. I tell you, he's a feisty guy on the wood as well. But
yeah.
At any rate, Coach, so you don't see anything different, or maybe something that you're really looking forward. I know the old cliche, one game at a time, and we got to prepare for the game we're kicking off. But isn't there somebody on there that you'd really looking forward to playing?
Coach Danny, I think that was putting some.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Hunter.
I don't know. Can I say La Jolla?
Yeah, I know this is going to sound so cliche, but really the next game, you can't guarantee. I mean, this year should have proven that, right? Like there's no guarantee of the following game after that. So right now we're excited for our scrimmage. We are trying to find a way to be prepared for that. And then, the next, really what we're really excited is our opener. We're playing a team that we've never played before. They're from Temecula, a talented Rancho Christian team. That has some really talented players. But then, we've scheduled the following week. We're playing St. Margaret's. Christian High hasn't played St. Margaret's since 2014 when the school we lost to them in the regional there. I've gotten to play them the last 4 years at my previous spot, and that's one of the top teams in the state of California. And so, the way you compete against those type of teams is players like these guys. And I could talk all about every single one of them. Hunter's going to be one of the top tight end recruits in this country. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I get the phone calls every day. JC ran a 4.5 at the Alabama camp. I mean, Joey was a first team all-league player last year as a sophomore. Jake stepped into a role as playing a quarterback, and he does everything that our quarterback should be doing. He runs our entire offense. I bounce ideas off him. He's already ranked in the top 3 quarterbacks right now as a junior. And Chris is one of the most talented football players I've ever coached. And so with these guys all together, if we can figure out how to play as a football team, it'll all come together. Like, talent by itself never works, but especially in football, as you've seen. in my previous past and other teams. You look at teams and you can lose warm-ups every day, but all of a sudden they come out and, man, that looks like that's what football should look like. And these guys have every piece to make that happen. And I'm just excited to watch them. I'm telling you, that's why I say the next game, because maybe the next game, if they put this together, this could be a special, special group.
Hey, Chris, I want to go back to something that Joey said when he was kind of, announcing some positions. He said, you're lining up at linebacker, and we were kind of joking about it, going back to that Otay Ranch playoff game when you made that interception in the end zone, really to save the game there after we kicked the go-ahead field goal with Hunter. But is that new for you, or did you play some linebacker during the spring?
Nah, linebacker isn't nothing new to me. I've been playing linebacker my whole life growing up, to be honest. I just started playing like corner my freshman year and safety and stuff like that my sophomore year. But outside linebacker, that's where I was trained at. So I think it's going to be fun.
And obviously the rising talent that you were, let's face it, and as a freshman, maybe a little slight of build, so maybe you fit you closer to a position that accentuates your speed and uses those talents. But as you're growing, we see already how good you look. Maybe that's where that comes in, where he moves Dave a little bit closer to the interior. And I just go back, Dave. I'm going to give you one guess, Dave, as to maybe I always have a favorite player or two over the couple of years, as we go along. But I'll give you one guess. One of these guys on screen is going to be, probably my favorite player for the next 2 years. I'm going to shout out Chris right now, just because after that game, I got to speak with Chris and Hunter, who kicked that game-winning field goal. It was a minute and a half left, and Chris saved it. But after the game, and Chris has been so cool to put one of these, I think, on his social media or on his huddle. How about this, Dave? Look at this. Look at this. So Chris gets to be my favorite player for at least the next season or two. And don't change that. Well, you know what, Chris? You can change that as long as I get to use it maybe on one of my social media profiles.
For sure.
Well,
you like that, Dave?
I love that one. And I'm picking the whole team, but if I had to put some money on the offense, which I'm not a betting guy, but if I had to put him on his shoulders, I think Jake's going to do big things this year, and I think he's going to be carrying the team, and he has no problem carrying the team on his back, but he's going to also have plenty of weapons, as we can see them right in front of us right at this moment. But I wanted to go back to Joey on maybe you can help us out and kind of tune us into what's going on with the secondary and the defensive side of the ball, and how we're really shaping up. And maybe you can throw some other names in there that deserve some credit.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, me and JC are at the corners. JC's both sides of the ball. I mean, he's already starting to get offers. I mean, I love him. Played 7-on-7 with him in the summer. He's one of my best friends. And then we have Isaiah Givens, who you guys know, at safety. I already said that. But in the D-line, we have a incoming sophomore. His name's like Ryder Jennings, right, Coach?
That's right, Ryder Jennings.
It's like 6'6", 290 pounds, big old boy. We got big old boys. I mean, we got a new kid. His name's Jordan Merritt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jordan Merritt at the DN position. He's fast. I mean, John Rodriguez, one of the best O-linemen in the nation at Madison. He beat him in a one-on-one when we played 7-on-7 against them. I mean, our defense all around, our offense all around, we're going to be really good, I think.
Well, Dave, like I said, we often have to talk about some of the games that Christian gets involved with because of the prolific offense. And like I said, there's a lot of offensive talent, but on this screen. But Jake, it's got to kind of feel like a blessing that's come down. Coach Mitchell, let's face it, is kind of a quarterback whisperer, right? So the chance to work with him and develop under him, you got to feel good about this situation and this chemistry with this coach.
Oh yeah, for sure. Danny's like, he's not even a coach to me at this point. He's like one of my best friends. Like, it's amazing, coach. Like being coached by him. I love it.
I was trying not to screw these guys up, man. They're like I said, they're great talents. They're good kids. They, we just want to. Hopefully, what they're reflecting on the field is what they are every day, and that's the. I know these guys have aspirations, and on this screen can probably play this game longer than just their high school career. And having coached at that level after high school, they're looking for people like these guys, and that's what. I think that's what's special about this group and why I'm so excited, because they had a chance. I talked to the team today after practice. Yeah, the moment you have a really good team, and I tell this guy all the time, or these guys all the time, the moment you're a championship team is the moment your coaches don't have to be there, and that's what I think the value of playing this past spring was, because it gave them a chance to grow up as a team together, and they get to play all together again, and they're starting to get there. And the moment it starts to click that, hey, they're the ones on the field. I'm never going to touch the field. The moment that we got a shot to do something pretty special.
Well, Coach, tell us what type of quarterback then Jake is. We saw, his statistics in the spring, a 70% completion percentage. He did play in 4 of the 5 games as Gabe struggled with those injuries. And we're very thankful that Gabe has found a landing spot, some place that looks like it's going to be very, very good for him, actually. But what do you have in Jake? 100 yards of total offense in each game, so that's what you're going to look. And as I said, Coach, we might have 60 receptions on this screen, but I think we have only 4 touchdowns. So is Jake just the type that he's growing into his role now, and maybe has the physical attributes to carry it to this championship level?
100%. I mean, I think you saw he had to grow up, and with Jake, his first start was against La Jolla last year, and everyone knows without a doubt that was one of the best La Jolla teams in their history. At my previous school, we played them to open the season, and obviously we led the entire country at my previous school in offense, and we only scored 18 points against them. And that last the year before, and that's the same group that these guys had to play against. And Coach Roach does an incredible job, I think, with Coach Bussey, coaching at every level. He's one of the best D coordinators I've ever been against. And there are guys that that's their whole job, their whole day they spend it. And man, I even joked with him after the game. I said, man, every time I go against you, it's the hardest thing. It's the hardest week. I spend an extra hour. And so why is Jake the right fit? Because I believe the quarterback position's about great decisions. I believe the quarterback position's about making sure the other 10 guys are set up. They believe the quarterback position's about having a level head. And then what you saw, it's about how you respond. And so Jake's first game, like I said, was against La Jolla, and we had an opportunity to almost beat those guys at one point. And then he follows up the next week against Mission Bay and scores 5 touchdowns. And so more importantly, what I'm seeing him in practice, he's developing every day. When he makes the mistakes, he's really developed on, even over these last 2 weeks, watching him has developed parts of his game that he knows he has to improve and has improved it. And I'll say specifically, even watching within the last couple of days of the ball coming out of his hand, there's a confidence that's what the position's about. So why do I think we're going to be pretty good? It's really easy to say we're going to be pretty good because I believe 100% in the guy that's under center and leading us. And so, Jake's going to be the guy that runs our offense, but more importantly, he's the guy that all these guys that you see on this screen, the way he's going to be successful is relying on these guys right here. So if he distributes the ball to them and they trust the decisions he's making, it's really easy. I always joke that, game day should be a fun day for me specifically. I just get to watch as a fan. And he's starting to do that. There's times in practice I'll call a play and he'll change the play and make the right decision. And the more I can say, hey, just do that, that to me is my favorite coaching point. I used to joke about that with the last quarterback I coached before him. And I think that's how it's always should be. If I'm the one making the decisions the whole time, we're not going to be very good. anyone that believes that thinks it's just about the coach at any level doesn't know anything about the game. Nothing. And you want to go to the higher level of football, the more empowered your players are, amazing how great they are. Why is Tom Brady so good? Everywhere he goes, the guy's empowered, and I think that's what we're hopefully instilling with these guys, that they're the ones on the field. They're the ones that have to make the plays. They're the ones that get to do it. And I'm only here to help drive them to put them in a successful position. So,
and Coach, I'll even take it, and I'll take a quote out of some of your past quotes, and really, you mentioned on several occasions, really the most important thing right now that you're doing out there. It's not the scoreboard. It's not what's going on over there. It's learning how to play the game of football and learning how to play the game of football the correct way and to play it well. And that, as one of your quotes personally, and that once you've done that, then everything else comes into play.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. I think Bill Belichick says it real well. I mean, I said this to these guys all the time. You've got to do all the things that don't lose a game before you even talk about winning. Lining up right, showing up on time, doing things, not creating penalties, just knowing your assignment. It's amazing how when you do the things that don't lose games, how much winning actually falls into place. And that's what I'm hoping these guys are instilled. And the more and more they start doing it, you can see it. They've been here. I'll be completely honest. I don't believe there's another team that has worked as hard as these guys throughout the summer. And they can tell you, they've been up they show up at 5 a.m. They're waking up, and they've been going since June doing that. And then, battling through of figuring out, okay, how are we going to battle the heat? Today we practiced in 100-degree weather. And these guys responded, and they got in the weight room in 100-degree weather. And then they had conditioning in 100-degree weather. And I know everyone else is doing it too. And so I'm not saying, hey, that hard work it should play off. Well, everyone else is doing that too. So I think the next step is recognizing that, okay, they're putting in the work. And then once they're empowered to do it, once they take responsibility of doing it, I get to be a fan. I think that's the best job in the world of being a coach. Is I love celebrating with these guys, and I am a huge encourager of them getting in the end zone and celebrating together and doing things together. So yeah, let's talk more about these guys. Let's let them.
Well, yeah, I just remind me of that touchdown last year at the end of the season. We all piled up in the sidelines. Remember, guys, at the end of the year, we got that touchdown. Everybody ran over to the side. The big man got the touchdown. And there's Coach Mitchell. The video shows Coach Mitchell kind of lead the way. But while everybody else is celebrating, he's hustling back to, kind of get the next play together. So, Dave, you're always talking about special teams. I want to shout out Hunter. I'll just want to describe that Otay Ranch game again, because like I said, it seemed like only yesterday that he kicked that winning field goal. But Hunter, you only kicked one field goal last year, and you're recognized as one of the top kickers in the county. So how can we count on you, man? Are you keeping that leg warm throughout the summer?
Yeah, I am. I'm still practicing like 2 times or 3 times a week. Yeah, I'm just staying ready. Whenever they need me, I'm there. This year, we're going to focus more on going for 2-point conversions rather than extra points. So, but if I need it, if it comes down to the situation, I'll kick it for sure.
Of course. And that's why he was called upon, Dave, as a freshman to kick a field goal that gave Christian the lead in a playoff game. I think it was 27-24 at the time. And, of course, Chris came down and had, I believe, the game-sealing interception. Then we interviewed these guys afterwards, and that was a great night. But, Dave, you're always talking about special teams, and Hunter definitely – despite the inactivity, if you will, of spring, he only kicked one field goal. But I think look, Danny talked about him as a Division I tight end prospect. I imagine he's probably a kicking prospect as well. But obviously, with his size and development, let's work on being a tight end in the future.
Yeah, Jake, I wanted to just ask you if you had to if there was a professional player out there, I know we all have our own style, but we take little bits and pieces from some of the quarterbacks that have from yesterday and today. And would you say that you're more of a mobile quarterback, pocket passer, or if you have any particular player that you model some of your style after? What do you think?
I think I can do a little bit of both. If I have to run, I mean, I love running. It's really fun to get out in an open field and make someone miss. And I also love throwing the ball, to these guys, just let them get the ball and go do it for me so I don't have to, be tired in the huddle after. So, I don't know. It's hard to say who I think I look up to as a quarterback in the NFL. I used to say Deshaun Watson. Don't know if I can really say that now, but maybe like a Dak Prescott type, someone like that.
You know what? I think there's more and more of it, not only at the prep level, the NFL, JCs. It just seems that I don't want to say we're getting away from the pocket passer, but I think we're a lot more mobile than we have been in the past. I'm a little more old school. Do I agree with that 100%? If I went by statistics on how long some of the quarterbacks play and the longevity, I would say the pocket passer is still worth being, because if you got the good field vision and you know how to read defenses, which is crucial at your position in particular, you're going to last a lot longer than throwing yourself out there and risking your body, as we've seen in a Phillip Rivers for how many years that he played behind center, and I think he only second to Brett Favre. So
we know. Yeah, well, we know Jake's got more moves than Rivers, right? I mean, he's on our intro, Dave. He's the quarterback that runs the crazy play at the end of our intro for this season. Remember, I think we shot that. I think his dad shot it actually, but he takes off running. I'm coach. I'm cringing right there. He's already got one quarterback nursing injuries. It was the end of the season, but we know we were close to this season. And Jake took off running, weaving all around the field. That was just a crazy play. JC, what do you think of? You're one of the fastest men in the county. What'd you think of Jake's speed on that one?
He is elusive. Oh my gosh, nobody can catch him. He doesn't look that fast, and when you get up and try and touch him, he just slips away. You should have seen him in San Diego. He could not get tackled.
Thanks, JC.
I'll tell you who he is modeled. This is before these guys were even born. He's Jake Plummer. The way he runs, I make fun of the way his path back there. I mean, he is Jake the Snake. Jake Plummer, before his first start, sent him a video, and I'm watching. He's wearing number 16, and these guys probably never even saw Jake Plummer play, but he plays exactly like him. I call a snap, and I call a play, and the ball snapped, and his path back there might be like this, and then all of a sudden he opens up and finds a way. So it's fun to watch, and Dave, especially when you have this talent to be able to throw through here.
Dave, you can relate and tell us about it, because Jake's one of your favorite players.
I will tell you,
Jake Plummer, Jake Davila too, but Jake Plummer.
Jake Davila, if he gets a chance to take a look at some of those highlights, you might want to. You'll probably skip most of the Arizona, but you might want to check out his time in Denver, because I'll tell you what, he was one heck of a guy. Some of the tackles that he was eluded, and then be able to just skyrocket that ball. And not only that, but we're talking 50-yard, 60-yard passes and on the money. And then, of course, great boots and throwing on the run. And I don't see why you couldn't do the same thing, as elusive as you are. So that being able to do those kind of things, that's real hard for our opponents to prepare for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'll just throw in this, Jake. This is a little side note to Dave, but Jake Plummer, he was great at Arizona State. Don't be so hard on him. But if people might remember, now I'm really dating us, but Danny, remember when I think Danny will remember, I'm a little older, but he played in the Rose Bowl, and he played against a couple of Monta Vista Monarchs Michael Wiley and Will Goodlow in that Rose Bowl game, an incredible game between Joe Germain was the quarterback, and there was a series of wild pass interference plays at the end of the game. One of the best games I've ever been to was that Rose Bowl game, watching Jake Plummer. So, hey, Chris, I bet some basketball games have broken out. I want to talk about maybe the multi-sport too. Hunter, a basketball player as well, but who wins at basketball now when you and Coco might go one-on-one, huh?
That's
She's probably passed up by now.
She's sitting by you, Chris. You got to be ready for this answer, man.
Yeah. Shout out. Hi, Coco.
This has been a long time rivalry since birth, and she's starting to give it to me now. She's the truth. I can't even lie. My sister, she's the truth.
Man, it's got to be. I mean, she probably says, "Okay, I give you football," but I'm sure you guys go out and shot for shot. That's got to be something special.
Yeah, it is. She be snatching ankles, making people fall. So I touched earth a couple times too. It's like, dang, you can't even do nothing about it. Fade away, all of that.
Right, and it was when I met, Chris, kind of at the end of that season. He was a freshman, and they, kind of said, watch out for his sister. I mean, she's pretty good. So, hey, Hunter, what about that basketball team last year? Look, looking at you now, and the way Danny talks about you as a tight end prospect, but you had a pretty good season out there. How much do you focus on your basketball?
I'd say it's pretty 50-50. I mean, I focus on basketball quite a bit. We had a tough season last year. I mean, we played Cathedral, and they were a really tough opponent, along with Saints. They all have some Division I athletes who are all really good players and hard to guard. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, Dave, we don't have to worry about the seasons overlapping now, fortunately. So we're going to, really see what they can do in their respective sports moving forward, Dave.
Absolutely. I don't no pressure, but I don't expect any less than championship seasons from the Patriots when it comes to all the sports. So, like I said, again, no pressure, and I think you guys will do just fine. And I look at it this way: you guys have those difficult schedules for a reason, because it makes you guys that much better, win or lose, playing the top talent in San Diego County, and that's why the Patriots have continued to grow up in the ranks. I mean, I can even remember when I was a young kid and the Patriots were D5. I mean, to come all the way up now, that's quite a climb, and many championships later, and I'm sure more to come. And Jake, Chris, JC, and Hunter, you guys got all the makings of that team. You guys stick together, and like Coach said, the little things, not making those mistakes at the line, and those penalties that, those 5 yards that add up to about 50 yards. If you're, offside, we don't want to do any of that or any of the false start business, and you guys are in business yourself, and that equates to quite a few wins.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Coach Danny, as athletic director, right, finally kind of settle in and tackle this athletic calendar. If you just maybe touch on that real briefly. I don't want to drag away from the kids' attention. I know you want us to get to them, but it's just a relief, huh? Is it?
Well, yeah, settle in. I wouldn't use that term, but I guess, yeah, it's definitely nice to come back to a normal year. I'm obviously this was my first year being the AD there, so I know nothing different than all sports at once. So I got that one down a little bit. So yeah, it'll be definitely a new challenge this coming year, but I'm excited for these guys. Again, this is all about their experience. That's what it should be about. That's what high school sports about. I mean, we're a small Christian school in San Diego, California. And what's nice is, we want to make my old college coach used to say this, used to tell me, a guy named Mark Speckman, he used to always say, hey, let's make your time the big time. And that's what I tell these guys. They're in the big time. They made it. I'm going to try to make this as special an experience for them as possible. And regardless of the wins and losses, hopefully this is something that they look back on and they enjoyed the experience. And so, like you said, I think, we haven't been to a championship in football since 2016. We have to the CIF title, and we know how big and challenging it is. You said it, Dave, that Christian has had to climb up, and we're playing Division II. And Division II is hard for smaller schools. That doesn't mean we don't deserve to be there. I think we can do it. I got to experience that Division II game the last time we had one at Southwestern, and you see, we're going to look different school size wise than the opponent on the other side. But until they say you don't get to play with 11, it's equal when you're out there. And that's where I feel really confident about this group, because I'll take our guys versus any guys. I would love to play anyone in the country, and we'll see how it can play, how we last. And we're looking forward to every game, and I think it should be a lot of fun this season. And I know Ramon asked me what game personally I'm looking forward to. Obviously, my best friend is the head coach at Point Loma, so you can't. I mean, I'm excited to go against Joel Allen. I mean, that's where I first started with Bishops, and I want to be 1-0 against him, and then 2-0 against him at some point. So if I was looking at one game, that'd be definitely.
There it is.
I want to. That's my praise. A Christian High alum too. So, and I was his water boy at Christian. So
I dropped off. So obviously we were talking about the last
Point Loma,
the last game of the season. Let me recite.
I missed
that whole thing, and then I just caught the end.
My personal game that I'm looking forward to, but more that ain't about me. This is them. I'm excited to watch these guys against Rancho Christian first, and then we get to play. I'm excited to see these guys take on St. Margaret's at St. Margaret's. If you haven't been to that is one of the coolest environments of an away game. It will have
Capistrano.
It feels like a college football game, especially for these guys. We're going to have to talk about during that week how we've got to focus on us. Their student section is right on top of you. And it is a cool environment and a lot of fun. And I know when they show up, the emotions will be there because the environment is created that way. And obviously we play Mission Bay, then Santa Fe Christian, which is a wonderful rivalry. That's a program I have so much respect for. I think that is one of the top programs in California, the way they run. John Wallace, their head coach, does a phenomenal job. Their AD, Doug Miller, is an unbelievable person. Their head of school, they do a great job. And you look at their sideline, and they're one of those teams that I talk about what football should look like, because they don't win warm-ups very much. I'll be honest. You look across the sideline, and you're like, oh, those guys can't be any good. And then they come out there and they kick your butt. And so I'm excited that's why it's been such a great rivalry in the past between Christian High and Santa Fe Christian, because we get the same thing. People look across and say, hey, that's a small school. There's no way they can't hang with us. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. I love that. So, and it's these guys that make it happen. And hopefully they're a huge reflection of what the school community is about.
And after that, Dave, that's a road game at Santa Fe Christian. That's kind of Christian's traditional county rival, if you will. And then at Central, so we got a little road trip to take, another road trip, if you will, at La Jolla. It's obviously La Jolla, I don't know if it's going to be La Jolla, but it's still going to be La Jolla. So I think, they're still probably going to be pretty good at Mira Mesa. So that's a stretch. That's the 4 consecutive road games. That's really going to tax these guys a little bit. That's where they'll. And here's the thing that Coach Mitchell's getting at. I'll round this up. Home games with Scripps, with Dave's new favorite school, Canyon Hills, and then at Point Loma. So that's Sarah High for anybody, the uninitiated of our friends out there, but I think everybody knows by now the story. So, but that's what Coach Mitchell's getting at, Dave. When we started, I don't know, covering Christian High, however long we've been doing this, right? I mean, over 30 years for me, 35 years, 30 years, whatever it is. But Christian came up with small enrollment, beat up because the enrollment guys, you probably know the story. I'm talking to the players now that they used to divide up the county just by how many students you had. And that Christian rolled it, man, because we always have really great athletics and great programs, and we could beat anybody that rolled out there with another 375, 350 students. But when they changed it to based on how much success you have, the problem going forward is, yes, Christian can always hang with these teams 11 on 11. But when you get down to the meat of a schedule, if the Patriots, and it probably goes true today, and maybe we can get one more round of questions. We got maybe a few minutes left with these guys. So they know the focus too. I'm sure, the stress, Coach Mitchell stresses this. We got to avoid injuries. Christian can't get injuries and continue to do what it needs to do to reach the championship level of these higher divisions, Dave, because it's kind of the depth that kind of takes effect when you start having to play schools that have 2,000 kids.
Right. And but again, I reiterate the other side of things that where they started and where they are now, and how much success they have had with the amount of student body that they have and the amount of players that they put on the field, and then just the gentleman in front of us right now, all the talent that they have. And it's funny, talking to West Hills coach Casey Ash, he's always said, it doesn't, if you have one or two dudes, that's not going to cut it. But if you have a team full of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dudes that can really play, then you really got yourself a chance at a championship. And looking at the screen, I think you have more than one or two dudes. You got a team that's hungry. You got a team that's ready to go, and a couple of games that they want to play over again. We did great in baseball, I might say, against one team, and now we want to go out and on the football field and duplicate what was done in baseball.
Yeah, this is a special group right here, and it's because of these guys. And I mean, you touched on the depth thing, and this is going to be different for us this year because we, like I said at the beginning of the show, we have the largest roster in school history. You come out to our practice, you'll see we have 80+ kids playing. That's never happened at Christian High. And so that breeds competition. I think that's what makes this group so special, because now we have the opportunity to breed competition, to really push to be the best we possibly can be, because you can't be complacent when you have a chance. We have a skill group that is talented, and we're going to find ways to get them the football and find ways to make sure that and that's why I touched on Jake before. What makes him a great quarterback? He knows how to distribute the football. He's going to distribute the football. He's learning to keep on doing that. And that's what's going to make him special. And that's what makes it special. That's on the offensive side, but on defense, it's about, really all of football. It's about all 11 guys being on the same page, doing your own job. Our defensive coordinator, also a Christian High alum, guy named Pat Kelly. Pat says it best. He says, dude, be the one of 11. Be one of 11. If you try to do more than one of 11, you will fail in this game. And it's really easy as a coach to, my job, as I'll specifically talk about as being a coordinator, my job is to figure out how to make a defense become no longer one of 11. That's what I've always tried to do. At the pro level, college level, all the same. You try to break their rules from playing as a team. And the more you do your job, the harder it is to play against. And that's why I always look forward to playing against Santa Fe Christian. I keep on bringing them up because they do such a great job of playing with 11. They've been so well coached for so long because they take over. They know they just play their role. And I think that's where we want to be. We want to be in that. And I think our guys are doing it I preach about us just loving each other. I said, if that's what it should be about. If you don't love playing with the guys that you're with, then why are you playing? If you don't love the moments that you're creating together, the moments on the field, then why are you doing this? You should have a why. And And so even if I want them to all do something together, to do it all as one. And, that's what I know that sounds so cliche, but it's also so hard to do. That's why they only crown one champion. That's why there's only very few people that get to experience those special moments, because it takes special effort. That's all I want to touch, and that's what we have here. This group has that.
Joey, I'll throw it at you. The good thing about having all the such a large roster, and then having that depth, and Jake too. I mean, that all of you really, it's going to be such an amazing and the most different season in Christian football history as well, because you'll have 2 and 3 guys playing at that same position. You might have carry 3 quarterbacks because you have that depth, or three corners for the same out there, 3 safeties. You can give them a breather, and because you have that depth. So I think that also screams success to me. Just having that ability. I mean, and I'll end it with that. Granite Hills did the same thing. They had the depth. They got up on people. Hopefully you guys do the same thing. That's the formula. They got up early. They stayed on top of them. They were able to take, the second and third string guys, put them in there, put some fresh bodies in there, but let them take, the third and fourth quarter and learn how to play at a varsity level. And you know what? That's made them that much better starting this year. And that's how you cycle through it. And I think that's what's going to happen at Christian High. So you guys are very fortunate for this season coming up, and 2 or 3 years from now.
Okay. Well, Joey, were you guys as veterans surprised to see so many kids at the first practices? Did that surprise you guys?
I mean, a little bit for sure, but through COVID, we got like a lot of kids to come into our school. I mean, our like student roll, like we had like 200 plus students coming to our school through the whole COVID thing. We have probably 40 freshmen on our team. I mean, it's crazy to see all those guys. But like Coach always says, that you're only as good as your weakest link. So I mean, we try to push all those freshmen to go hard at practice, so that if they're put in a game situation, that they're ready to go.
I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if Coach Danny's out there off of Greenfield with one of those arrows, football signs, drawing players in. Hey, JC, I think of you as a home run threat because of your speed, but you led the team in receptions over the spring. So what kind of sequences occur with Coach Mitchell's offense when you guys go to the line, when Jake, and before, of course, with Gabe? We know they kind of shared time, we'll say, last year because of the injury. But what kind of sequences occur with an offense that distributes the ball so equally?
It's really nice because everyone gets the ball the same. There's no like harsh feelings or anything. No one's mad at each other, and we really love each other. So we give each other love when we get the ball. He really balances the ball really well. It's not like all run or all throw, He gives each of his guys a chance, and we can all show our skills. We can all make an impact on the game, so it's nice.
Chris, do you guys just have to get open? Does Jake have the series of reads? Do you when the lineup comes out, when you guys are going up, are you expecting on this possession? I'm thinking I'm the first read. I know I'm the first read, or is there a little bit of ad lib going on?
Well,
we know Jake likes to move around.
Well, for me, I think for every good wideout or at any position, you should always think that, well, I'm going to get the ball first, or I'm going to get open on this player. I'm going to do this and that to ensure my success for the play if that's what I want. So, yeah, I think Jake he's doing a good job, and he's getting better at seeing the field and seeing who's getting open and seeing who's getting open. I mean, going through his progressions and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're just all trying to get on the same page and stay on the same page.
Is that what happens, Jake?
Yeah, that is what happens. Yeah, well, Danny calls in the play. I look at the play. I see if I have a mismatch, I'm going to go straight away to that. And if I don't, then I'll go to my read. I'll go to the play. and whoever's open is open.
Well,
There you go ahead, Dave.
Ramon, and that's due to a promised schedule earlier, so we don't go over. I want to just thank all of the Patriots players and Coach Mitchell for coming on and taking time out to give us the preview of one of the biggest rosters and probably one of the more promising seasons too. And thank you guys all for coming. We look forward to seeing you on the field. And for the Christian Patriots, Coach Mitchell and Ramon Scott, I'm Dave Dickens. Thank you and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
for having these guys on.
Thank you.